Hello, students, to this new unit on complaining and apologizing of your conversational skills. And I am Dr. Shyaonti Talwar, who will be taking you through this unit. So, first, I'd like you to have a look at these situations. What are these people doing? Most of them seem to be pretty angry or upset. Have a good look at the pictures. Look at this person. Let's call him or her A. She's saying, our computer server broke down again. B is saying, my order, such and such number, didn't arrive today. You overcharged me by 300 euros. I ordered 450, but you only sent me 400. Your engineer didn't get back to me. I want to place an order, but the line is always engaged. Your fax is illegible. We don't have a record of your payment. So, what are these people doing? Yes, you've guessed it right. They are all complaining. So, these are ways in which you complain, right? Now, well, and these are some of the situations when you need to make a complaint. So, my plan for today's session is that first we'll look at some places and situations when we complain or receive complaints, or we apologize in response to a complaint and we receive apologies. Secondly, we'll be looking at the language of complaining and apologizing, and we'll also be looking at the language of accepting an apology. We will also be looking at the intonation and the degree of formality, as in what kind of structures to use in which situation. And finally, we'll be having a look at a sample dialogue, right? So now let's move to the functional language for complaining. Now, these are some of the ways in which you can make a complaint. Now, you have to realize that making a complaint is not a very pleasant thing, right? So, obviously, you have a very big chance of offending or causing some kind of discomfort or inconvenience to the receiver of the message. So, that is the reason you need to soften it a little, you need to tone it down a little. So here you have some structures which you can use. I have a complaint to make. Sorry to bother you, but so you see, you start with the word sorry. So you know that it is not something the other person is looking forward to hear, right? So you start with a sorry. That's a polite way of making a complaint. Sorry to bother you, but I'm sorry to say this, but I'm afraid I've got a complaint about. I'm afraid there's a slight problem with. Excuse me, but there's a problem about. I want to complain about. I'm angry about. Now, an important thing I'd like to bring to your notice is that when the word complaint is a noun, you have a T at the end of the word. And when it's a verb, you do not have the T. It's plain complaint, right? So these are some of the situations. Now, if you look at the last one, I'm angry about, it's a pretty direct way of complaining. And we should not be using this structure unless we are really frustrated and fed up as a result of repeated complaints and no action being taken, right? Okay, now let's look at some of the language which is used for apologizing. Because when someone is complaining, the responder is obviously going to apologize. So here the responder can say, I do apologize for. I must apologize for. I apologize for. I'd like to apologize for. I'm so sorry. Another word for apologizing is saying sorry. I shouldn't have done this. It's all my fault. I'm ashamed of. Please forgive me for. Excuse me for. I'm terribly sorry for this. Pardon me for this.